Hello, and welcome to episode 117 on the Everyday Joy podcast. I'm your host, Joy Ravella, and I'm so excited about today's conversation. And if you want to dive in deeper, if you want to connect with some really great individuals, we've got a whole Everyday Joy podcast Facebook community, and the link is below. My name is Joy Ravella, and all throughout this week, I have just adored spending time with you one-on-one, being able to do these deep dive conversations. And today we are doing a deep dive into a previous episode I did with the one and only Joe Chapman, episode 61, titled God Will Restore You. It's Deuteronomy chapter 30, verse 3. And today's verse says, God, your God, will restore everything you lost. He'll have compassion on you. He'll come back and pick up the pieces from all the places where you were scattered. Now, the interesting thing is, episode 61 was actually a two-part series. So both episode 60 and 61 cover this idea of restoration. And so today's conversation complements that whole series. So if you really just resonate with today's chat, go back and listen to those other episodes. I also want to say, in terms of restoration, a real practical way you can restore something valuable to someone in a developing nation is through providing the gift of sight. CBM have very generously partnered with this podcast, and if you want to support them and you want to support the work that they do, you can provide a $33 sight-saving surgery that restores sight, but so much more than that. The link to that is in the description below, miraclesday.com.au. So now I'm going to play a little clip from episode 61, then I'll come back and we will dive deeper. Let's get into it.
For me, when I think about restoration, I think about, it isn't always the way that we think it's going to be. Yeah. If you lose a finger and you're unable to work at the same capacity, or you have some issues, it doesn't necessarily mean God will restore the finger, but He can restore wealth, and He can bring to you a new means of finance or a new way of doing something in your life. And it's the ultimate restoration, because it's sometimes not about the restoration of the thing. Like, for example, with yourself, you've lost a relationship and that really hurts, but it's about the restoration of you as a person, you as a spirit, you as a personality. What is the best way to bring that restoration and joy through these kittens, because you're caring and loving? God knows what to use to restore the brokenness, and sometimes it's not what we feel.
What I love about Joe's story, and you've got to listen to the whole of episode 61 to understand, she talks about her marriage, her divorce, and God restoring her in that space. And what I love is that she acknowledges the fact that when we look at restoration, we look at it in a certain way. We have these expectations of what restoration looks like, and often God doesn't provide for us in those ways. He always provides, He always restores, but not always in the way we think. So I want to share today a story. It's actually quite a sweet story of how God absolutely surprised me with how He restored something in my life. A long-time prayer of mine, both mine and Ari's, has been to find a home church. We're still looking, but for many reasons like lockdown and moving around so often, it just was hard to find that local church. We decided we're going to attend online churches and grow our faith and stay connected to God in other ways, but we'll plug into a local church once we have a stable place to live. So we moved about a week and a half ago. So, okay, now we can in earnest start that hunt. However, the thing is that I had been praying for a church that was very similar to the church I left when I moved to Melbourne from Auckland. Elam City Church, bit of a shout out. The lead pastors there are incredible. The elders there were just so kind and gracious to my sister and I, and to this day still check up on us. The youth and the young adults community is just vibrant and real. Just a beautiful, beautiful church. And when I moved to Melbourne, I really missed having such a diverse group of people around me. I missed the connection. I missed the hangouts and the, hey, how's your week going? I really missed all of that. And I kept praying and asking God, Lord, bring us to a church that's like that church we left. Lord, bring me to a church where I can find people from all walks of life that I get along with. Bring me to a church where I feel like I belong. Bring me to a church where the people check up on me during the week. And I had just been praying over and over and over again that I would find all of these things at a church. Now, the beautiful thing is that God did restore that community to me, but he didn't actually restore it through a church. So this is kind of where I think God really has a sense of humor. So about a couple of months ago, both Ari and I were saying we needed to have some kind of shared hobby together so that we can snap out of the routine of it all and have something that's just fun and new and fresh. And so we thought to ourselves, why don't we just try dancing? There's a social dance group down the road. We can check it out. We can maybe get fit. And honestly, the last thing on my mind was meeting people. I really was there for two reasons: to stay fit over winter and to spend time with my husband. So we turn up at this dance thing, and day one, a gorgeous couple come over to us and they say, hey, tell us a bit about yourselves. Oh, you sound, like an awesome couple. We can't wait to see you next week. And when we came back the next week, they said, oh, wow, it's so good to see you. And they invited a few more of their friends over to talk with us. And they said, hey, we're all hanging out for dinner after this class. Why don't you come out and spend time with us at this restaurant? And before we knew it, we've been going for a few weeks now. We have this incredible community of individuals from all walks of life who are supportive, who check up on us throughout the week, who are very encouraging, and who we fit in with. Literally everything that I had been praying and hoping for to find in a church, God provided. God restored that to me, but he restored it in a way that I could not have predicted. But I'm so grateful to God for doing what he does best. He does restore, but he doesn't always restore things the way we thought. Something else I've been realizing lately in my own life is that sometimes I can get really selfish when it comes to asking God for restoration. I get so fixated on what I want and how I want God to restore me and my hurt and my pain and me. I forget that restoration is much bigger than just me. And something I'm reminding myself of today is this: we are here to serve God, and we are here to worship him. And the Bible is about revealing God to us. It's not about us using scriptures as bargaining chips to get what we want out of life. And so when God restores, all glory and all honor goes back to him. And sometimes we can get a bit selfish with what we want restored in our life so that it only benefits us. And God says, no, I don't work like that. When I restore all. And yes, that might mean God restores you, but he also blesses that person who wronged you because he's restoring them as well. And it might mean that the situation doesn't work out the way you hoped, but God's actually got something much bigger planned. And maybe for you, you've been praying the same prayer for years and years and years and years, but somewhere along the line, you became fixated with the outcome. You were asking for a very specific form of restoration, and God is saying to you, think bigger, think higher. I am more than that. And the story I shared earlier about this dance thing being something that God used to restore both Ari and I, it actually runs a fair bit deeper. You might recall in episode 115, I shared my own personal struggles with body image and all those sorts of things. I was always so nervous and scared about dancing as a result of that experience I talked about when I was 8 years old. And I started coming to this dance thing, and I have met some of the most gorgeous women of all shapes and sizes just embracing the craft. It's helped me come out of my shell. It's restored parts of my heart I didn't even realize were still bruised. And it doesn't end there. God's actually been doing some deep work in Ari as well. He's quite introverted and he's not had the best experiences in life around stepping out of his comfort zone in social settings, but God's been doing some really deep things around his self-confidence in those spaces, and I have just seen him come alive in ways I have never seen him come alive before. He's walking differently. He's got some deep healing going on while we're doing the cha-cha-cha. So God is humorous in the way he does it. He also is God, and he doesn't always work things out the way we think he'll work them out. But he always does. He does restore. And sometimes the thing that's standing in the way between our restoration is perhaps our idea of what restoration needs to look like. So it's a bit of a challenging chat today, but maybe for you have been praying the same prayer for years and years and years and years. My thought to you is, do you need to take it back to God and resurrender everything and allow him to restore the situation in his way, in his timing? It's a tough prayer to pray. It really is. But that's when faith and trust and hope comes in. And we can hope in God because that's what God's word says. Deuteronomy 33, God, your God, will restore everything you've lost. He'll have compassion on you. He'll come back up and pick the pieces from all the places where you were scattered. That's a promise you can hold on to. It just might not always look the way you think it'll look. Well, that wraps up episode 118 on the Everyday Joy podcast. I have been loving some of the emails I've been receiving, and Susan, thank you so much for your 5-star review. You are so sweet. You did a 5-star review and then you emailed me to let me know that you did it. So thank you so much and God bless you. And this really does help more individuals discover the podcast. So if you want to do that, do leave a 5-star written review. And if you want, also send through an email just like Susan to the Everyday Joy inbox. That's also in the description below. Hey, I look forward to catching up again next week. We are in for a treat. That's all I'm gonna say. Catch up then.